Alrighty, well, as you guys know, we are in the book of Phoebe tonight, and if you guys would like to turn to, just see if you guys are paying attention. How many of you guys know there is no book of Phoebe? Well, half of you, praise God. But anyway, that's right. We're in the book of Revelation, that's right, and by cracky, how many of you guys think we're going to get to verse 4? You are people of faith. But that's right, that's right. Hey, before we get started, you know the format is we start off with current topics. And tonight's current topic that we're going to deal with, Bible prophecy, in the news, is the push for a one world religion. Hey, does the Bible talk about that in the last days? There's going to be a one world global religion and it's going to worship the Antichrist or something? Hey, you guys better stop reading your Bible. It's all over the place in there, especially in the book of Revelation. But here's the point, do we see any signs of that today? Oh, folks, big time, especially, and of course this is one of my, I guess you could say fortes, because before I was saved, you guys know my testimony, I was involved in the occult and with New Age. I was actually promoting this, okay? So I was on the other camp, okay? And God had mercy on me, and so I'm very familiar with what's going on in the scene. And part of it is you have to understand, as I was talking with Mark earlier, and we're going to see a video clip of how slick people get snookered into this belief system because they don't ask the appropriate questions. Let me give you an example. For instance, you could talk to, I don't know if you guys ever witnessed to a Mormon or Jehovah's Witness, and you ask them this basic, seemingly Christian question. If you say, do you believe in Jesus? They will say what? Right. But see, you can be fooled if you don't probe deeper. Okay, what Jesus? Jehovah's Witnesses, he's the Archangel Michael. Mormons, he's the spirit brother of Lucifer. Okay, so that's the issue. But see, you've got to get beyond the terminology. And I want to give you a little lesson on this deal. And pay attention, because when you read the newspaper, when you watch the news, when you see these buzzwords, supplant it with one word religion. Now, one of the biggest words that's out there, folks, is called the interfaith. Okay? The interfaith movement, interfaith studies, interfaith religious meetings, okay? Supplant that for one world religion. Now, why do they do that? It's a common tactic, as you guys know. Because if they were to say, come join us tonight for the one world religion meeting, most people probably wouldn't show up. Right? Okay? Especially Christians. But if you say something like this, say, interfaith. Ooh. Hey, everybody likes working together. Can't we all just get along, right? And then another phrase that they use is what's called, ecumenical. Now, there's nothing wrong with that term, but now it's being given the meaning of kind of a New Age terminology. Okay? And then what we're going to see tonight is another one. It's called pluralism. And again, these sound wonderful, but every time you see, I challenge you, every time you see those buzzwords, this is what's going on, one world religion. Okay? So let's take a look at that. And also, just one other thing, I want to give you kind of a little Crone theory of just what I've experienced and how the world, because this is the question, folks. You and I would say, there's no stinking way that somehow they're going to be able to snooker the whole world to surrender their religious belief systems and to worship one God, the Antichrist. Well, again, New Age lays that foundation, because New Age basically is make up whatever you want. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, and it's kind of like a cafeteria religion. Okay? And everything goes except Orthodox Christianity. Okay? Now, here's what they have to do. Okay, to prepare people to accept a pantheistic worldview, meaning all God, okay? We hold to a monotheistic, one God, right? Okay, but we're not the only ones. And I want to show you what I've noticed is how they're going to do it, and they're going to pull it off. Okay, first of all, you got Islam, okay? Wrong, obviously, not the true way, but it's a monotheistic religion, right? Then you got you and I, Christianity, that's going on here. Okay, and then you have the Jewish people, right? All three are the monotheistic religions on the planet. Well, wait a second. How are you going to get Islam to go in with this one world religion that all religions lead to heaven? Here's what they're doing, folks. You pay attention. They're creating dichotomies. Here's what they're doing. Okay? They're taking those who are the true Islamists, the Muslims, okay, and they're giving them negative propaganda. Those fundamentalists. Now, obviously, we don't agree with the jihad and murdering people, and if you know anything about the Muslims and stuff, they really do teach in the Quran, okay, you can read it for yourself, with annihilation of the infidel, which is the Christian and the Jewish person, and that's their only way that they're guaranteed 100%. You want to witness to a Muslim, talk about eternal security, because they don't have that. You talk about a fatherly love, they don't have that, okay, with Allah. Okay? But the other issue that's going on is they'll take the ones who are the fundamentalists, and they're frankly, here's my point. They are the true Muslims. I don't recommend it, obviously, but they're the ones who are truly following the Quran. Now, I don't know if you've noticed in the media, folks, what they do is they take the liberal Islam, okay? And you've seen the interviews of people, especially after 9/11, and they say, oh, no, Islam, it's a religion of peace, right? We would never condone that. Those guys, frankly, honestly, folks, are the phony baloney Muslims. Because that's not what the Quran teaches. Do you see where I'm going with this? Here's what they're doing. They're taking the true Muslim, and they're cutting it right down the middle, and they're saying, these are the bad guys. Okay? When, frankly, they're just being true, frankly, disciples. Again, I don't recommend it, but see where I'm going with this. Then they're taking the ones who are really phony. These guys aren't following the Quran. That's not what the Quran says. Okay? Then they're saying, no, these are the good guys. You see what I'm saying? And what they're doing is they're taking this chunk who's truly following Islam, and they're annihilating them. I've worn this ever since 9/11, folks, to the American church. And I said, you better watch it, folks, as a Christian. Before you jump on the bandwagon and say, yeah, kill those nasty Muslims. Get rid of them. Yeah, annihilate them. Yeah! You're digging your own grave if you understand what I'm about to show you. Because the same propaganda that's being used to them, you know who's being used on now? We're next, folks, if you understand Bible prophecy. So wake up. Anyway, so they're taking the phony Islam, and they're saying, oh, because why? They give into this, all religions, can't we all just get along? They go along with the program. Because the thing is, you cannot get rid of Islam. You cannot get rid of Christianity. You're not going to get rid of the Jewish religion. But you can split them in half, take the phony ones and call them true, take the real ones, get rid of them. Does anybody see the program? It's very simple once you understand what they're doing. Same thing's happening with the church today, folks. They're taking you, the Orthodox Christian, they're giving us the same terminology, those fundamentalists, those right-wing extremists. And they're saying that you and I are what? The bad guys, because we have the audacity to say that Jesus Christ is the only way. And I like to remind people, here in my Sunday class, hey, don't say, that's not my opinion. Have them read John 14:6. Jesus said that, I didn't. I am the way, the truth, the life. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. It's not my personal opinion. But then they're taking liberal Christianity, which is not Christianity at all. They deny the resurrection. They deny the miracles. They deny the deity of Jesus Christ, etc. But guess what liberal Christianity goes along with? Hey, can't we all get along? Do you see what's happening? Okay? So I'm telling you guys, this is the grand experiment that's taking place right now with one out of the three monotheistic religions. The next one on the pike, I'm telling you, is us. And they're already starting the propaganda. And that's exactly what they're going to do. They're never going to get rid of Christianity. They're going to take the phony Christianity, as we know Bible prophecy, the professing church, the phony church, and they'll usher right into the time of tribulation because they'll buy into the one world religion. Now the next one coming down the pike, after that is the Jewish people. And that's where we're going to see in the book of Revelation during the tribulation. They're the key player, okay, because they're the last monotheistic religion on the planet. The Antichrist will show his true colors 3.5 years into the tribulation, declare himself to be God. I believe it's Zechariah says that 2/3 of the Jewish people will be annihilated. Will make the Holocaust look like chump change. And God will reserve a third, a remnant for him. Okay, now do you understand the program of what's going on with the one world religion? I'm telling you folks, again, Crone theory, take it for what you want. But I really see that this is the format. And if you understand this, you'll understand not just the terminology, you'll understand how close we're getting. And how close we're getting, in my opinion, not to freak you out, but I'm just sharing the facts with you. Folks, we better wake up. Anybody see that? We're going to see it, Lord willing, next week if I pull it off. That Hindu prayer in the Senate. One world religion, folks. Can't we all just get along? Dr. Rush, real quick. Well, we are going to, I have it actually printed out, and so I'm saving that, Lord willing, for discussion, so not to put you off, but Lord willing, we will deal with that because that's another issue that's going on. Well, again, it's a particular format that you see, that you're going to see. They're going to divide people, and they're going to say the one-way people, because, again, they would say, no, there's only one God, Allah. No, there's only one God, Jesus Christ, God the Father, right? And then the Jewish people are still locked in. Obviously, they got the wrong, they're waiting for the Messiah to come. He's already come as Jesus Christ. But again, it's that one way, one God terminology that has to be gotten rid of. And anybody who doesn't go along with that, you will be annihilated. Okay? Is what's going on. And if anything, just to bear in mind, I'll throw you a little teaser, we'll get to that, Lord willing, later, is the issue that's going on there is that it's stirring up a whole mess of trouble. And I'm not going to get into a whole denominational issue with the Catholics and whatever, but the previous Pope guy, yeah, I got some video clips we can share, folks. I got him on video, and he's invited all the world religions at the Vatican, And he's had them all give up their sacrifices at the Vatican. Shintoists, Buddhists, snake worshippers, spiritists and stuff. They're praying the prayers and stuff like that. And then he gets up there and he says, we're all worshiping the same God. That's happened twice that I know about. And so the other guy, I'm not, this other guy, Ratslinger or whatever his name is, okay, got some stuff like that. But anyway, what we're seeing, folks, is again, this is the point. When you understand this plan, it makes a lot of sense when you understand the terminology. Okay, I said all that to get to this. Listen to this. And this, by the way, is a wonderful picnic. How many guys like picnics? Yeah, who wouldn't want to go to this, Bill? You know what I'm saying? It's Interfaith Picnic planned for Sunday. It's in Rochester. It's drivable. That's right. Listen to this. Jews, Muslims, and Christians will gather Sunday at Ellison Park for a picnic, soccer games, and interfaith mingling. Now, do you see the terminology? Every time you see interfaith, what do you need to supplant it with? One world religion, folks, okay? When it says this, when we can be together for fun, informal moments, it shows us that we are so much alike, said Marie Gibson, administrator for the Greater Rochester Community of Churches, which is one of the sponsors of the event. Besides, what better time than summer to come together as families? Rochester has a rich history of interfaith work, said Isabel Goldman, the director for community relations of the Jewish community in that area in Rochester. But often those groups meet through formal programs, and so the relationships are similar to co-workers who see each other frequently, but they don't really get into their personal lives. And they said, this is our first major attempt for a totally social event. It's an opportunity to really get to know people and just sit together and cheer for our teams. Several religious groups are letting people know about the picnic, that's right, which is open to the public, and organizers expect a couple hundred people to attend. Sponsors include Islamic Center of Rochester, the Jewish Community Federation, Greater Rochester Community of Churches, the YMCA Greater Rochester, Soccer Shack, St. Joseph's House of Hospitality, Nazareth College Department of Athletics, and the Center for Interfaith Studies and Dialogue. Whoa. How many guys going to go? Now you understand the buzzword? I'm telling you, you just even look at that one word, interfaith. I challenge you. Look in the newspaper, go to Google News, type that in. It's everywhere. If you know what to look for. We're being prepped for that. But that's not, you might think, hey, that's just those wacky people in Rochester. Anybody here from Rochester? Anybody have relatives in Rochester? Man, sorry. But anyway, that's right. But that's right. Hey, it's just those intriguing people from Rochester. Come on, man. The church isn't going to fall for that baloney. What was another one of the terms there? It wasn't just interfaith. It wasn't just ecumenical. It was pluralism. Get this, folks. How many guys remember in the intelligent creation study, the very last one that I saved on purpose because it was the most shocking, was that churches were celebrating Darwin Sunday. Remember that? Oh, can you believe? Listen to this. Churches are now celebrating, they're calling it a pluralism Sunday. Remember the terminology. What does pluralism mean? One world religion. Listen to this. Christians celebrate religious diversity on Pentecost, May 27th of this year, folks. Christian churches across the United States are beyond are dedicating their worship to a celebration of our interfaith world. And they're giving themselves this term, progressive Christianity. Ooh, that sounds neat. That sounds like cutting edge, man. These guys are on the ball, right? Again, it's the terminology. Progressive Christians thank God for religious diversity. We don't claim, listen to this, we don't claim that our religion, Christianity, is superior to all others. We can grow closer to God and deeper in compassion, and we can understand our own traditions better through a greater awareness of the world's religions. Pluralism Sunday is initiated by the Center for Progressive Christianity. It's a network of about 370 churches nationwide. Our congregations, they said, have adopted a welcome statement that affirms that other religions can be as good for their followers as Christianity is good for us. Listen to this. The number of people looking on their website for churches like that is topping 40,000 per month. Whoa. And listen to this. Quote, we believe Pluralism Sunday is an opportunity for progressive churches to reach, listen to this, to reach some of the many people who were turned off by Christianity because of exclusivist claims about some Christians make about it. Do you understand what's going on there? We have the audacity to say some Christians. Notice these guys are claiming to be what? That's that phrase. That's this half. You see what I'm saying? I'm sorry, I got a problem. If you don't think Jesus Christ is the only way to heaven, you think there's some other way, I didn't say it. The Scripture says you're not a Christian. I'm sorry. Let's just deal with the facts. Okay, but it sounds nice. And these kind of people, it's not only the wise folks, I'm telling you, follow the format of what I believe is going on, how they're pulling it off for a one-world religion. You take those people who are phony Christians, and you say, those are the real guys. You take you and I, and you start saying fundamentalists, exclusivists. Don't you guys all know that religion is the cause of war? We've all got to come together and get along. I think you guys heard that one. The preface. Now, just to show you, before we get into the text here, I got a video. How many guys watch Oprah Kenobi? Anybody? Yeah, you don't want to admit it, do you? But that's right. Me, and here's one point. I'll clarify this again. This is not about a character assassination. Okay, this is to show you that people can be fooled into thinking that somebody is a Christian, but when you probe with the right specific questions, I'm sorry, it's not. And you're going to see, folks, that she, by her own words, admits that she does not believe that Jesus Christ is the only way to heaven. Let's take a look. Just a couple-minute video clip and we'll be done. Let's take a look.
A panel has been discussing the spirituality and the forces of God, but I also believe that there are two forces that are here with us, that we do have our God that we can depend on, but there's also a power of darkness that we do need to be aware of. And that's where the choices begin.
Do you believe that you can choose between one or the other?
Most absolute, definitely.
Yeah. Now, Marianne Williamson says in her book, Return to Love, that we're always walking in the direction of one or the other, that all of your actions in life, either you're moving toward the darkness or you're moving toward the light.
That's right. She
calls it fear and love. There's this wonderful book called Ishmael by Daniel Quinn, which is, anyway, it's a gorilla talking, but anyway, it talks about one of the points it brings out is one of the mistakes that human beings make is believing that there is only one way to live.
That's
and
right.
that we don't accept that there are diverse ways of being in the world, that there are millions of ways to be a human being.
Please God?
And many ways, but many paths to what you call God.
That
and
is
her path
pleasing.
might be something else, and when she gets there, she might call it the light. But her loving and her kindness and her generosity if it brings her to the same point that it brings you, it doesn't matter whether she called it God along the way or not.
And I guess the danger that could be on that, I mean, it sounds great on the onset, but if you really look at both sides,
there couldn't possibly be just one way. What about Jesus? What about Jesus?
You say there isn't only one way. There is one way and only one way, and that is through Jesus.
There couldn't possibly be with
Because
millions
you
of people
say
in the
there
world.
isn't.
There couldn't possibly be.
Because you intellectualize it and say there isn't. If you don't believe that, you're all buying into the lie. But that makes you right.
Do you think that if you are somewhere on the planet, if you're somewhere on the planet and you never hear the name of Jesus, but yet you live with a loving heart, you lived as Jesus would have had you to live, you lived for the same purpose that Jesus came to the planet to teach us all, but you are in some remote part of the earth and you never heard the name of Jesus, you cannot get to heaven, you think?
and that is covered in the scriptures too. People are talked about
Truly, God knows the heart.
Does God care about your heart, or God care about if you call his son Jesus?
Well, you know, Oprah, Jesus cannot come back until that gospel is preached in the four corners of this earth. So, figure it out.
Okay, I can't get into a religious argument with you.
It's not religious.
Whoa, I tell you what. Hey, folks, here's just an obvious question they have with what's going on there. What kind of a viewing audience do you think Oprah Kenobi has? A couple thousand? Millions? What is she preparing people for? A one-world religion. That's the power of that video clip. You heard it with your own mouth. And doesn't it sound so nice? Who are you to be Russ? Not only throwing that chicken leg on my front porch, but we'll talk about that again later. But who are you to say that Jesus... I'm just kidding. Ed's not here tonight, so I got to pick on somebody. Who are you to say that Jesus is the only way? What are you, some kind of extremist? It's that kind of attitude that creates all the wars in the world, and do you see how we are being prepped to be annihilated? Folks, don't kid yourself. It's coming down the pike. Rich, real quick. Yeah. Exactly. It's not a message of peace, but if you accept His message, you will have peace. Okay? It's not popular, but it's true. And the truth will set you free. That'll preach. But hey, we're in the book of Revelation. Let's go ahead and crack open our text. Let's read the context. That's right. And we are, once again, going to live on the edge, guys. We are going to skip verses 1 and 2. You should have it memorized by now. And so we're going to go in there. Revelation chapter 1. That's right. Hey, you guys are sharp. You're on the ball. Revelation chapter 1. Let's take a look at what's going on here. Let us actually, that's right, believe it or not, start with verse 3. Let's take a look. Blessed is the one who reads the words of this prophecy. You guys are blessed tonight for coming. I didn't say that, God did. Blessed are those who hear and take it to heart and what is written in it. Because the time is what? Near. That's where we left off last time. John, to the 7 churches in the province of Asia, grace and peace to you from Him who is, who was, from Him who is to come, from the 7 spirits before His throne, and from Jesus Christ, who is the faithful witness, the firstborn from the dead, and the ruler of the kings of the earth. Who rules over the kings of this earth? Who's in control? Hey, folks, if you want to get freaked out like what one preacher said one time, if you're all worried about this globalist, if you're worried that we're next on the pike to be annihilated, go home tonight, read Psalms chapter 2, and go to sleep. God is the one who is in control, and He says in the heavens, and all these people are trying to rebel at Him, and they're just trying to usurp His authority. He's laughing. What do you guys think you can overthrow me? Are you kidding? And we belong to God. We're His children. Hey, read Psalm 2. Close it. Go to sleep. Have a great night's sleep. Trust in Jesus Christ. We left off last time. The time is near. And what we saw, if you were here, is the time is not chronos for time or chronology or chronological. It's kairos. It means season or epic. And that's what we saw. The season. It's not just near we saw. It's absolute. The season, the next epic on God's plate is absolute. We've had the man-lead timeline. How many guys was that? Whoa, that was big. That was huge, that timeline. Yes, that's what I get for boasting, because the incredible Dr. Neil had one that was probably, 14 miles long? You just had to bring it in, didn't you? But that's right. And so, but anyway, so we saw the incredible, you beat mine to a T, man. But anyway, so we saw that timeline. We saw that the next thing on the pike, folks, we're that close. The season, the epic. And what we saw, folks, is the question is, are you ready? We took a look at the 2 different parables, not just readiness, but watchfulness. One day Jesus Christ is coming back to get His bride. And so we thought, well, gee whiz, what's this rapture thing? We're not making this up. 1 Thessalonians, we just looked at one text, chapter 4, and what we saw there was it's really going to happen. People are going to disappear from this planet. And that's when we saw that video. How many guys, you were here during that study, and when we showed it this Sunday, you still jumped? I tell you what, that thing is absolutely awesome. And where we left off last time was, folks, even though the irony is much of the church does not want to believe in the rapture, where we left off last time is much of the occult, the New Age, that's the very event that they're waiting for to usher in this Antichrist kingdom. And that's what we saw. We saw quotes from New Age, and I'll read a couple of them real quick. The people who leave the planet during the time of the earth changes do not fit here any longer. They're stopping the harmony of the earth. When the time comes that perhaps 20 million people leave the planet at one time, what does that sound like? Yeah. They say there will be a tremendous shift in consciousness for those who are remaining. You bet there will. The occult, a direct quote from the occult says, people, they're expecting people to disappear. A direct quote is, they won't necessarily die. Quote, they will elect to leave this dimension as if going to another room. What does that sound like? And they believe that once that happens, that the new world leader will take his rightful place over the world. That's what the occult is waiting for. Very interesting. And as we saw last time, I don't base my belief on the rapture, on what the occult teaches. I find it very ironic, though, that that's the very thing they're waiting so they can get their program started, okay? And that's where we left off last time. We said, well, gee whiz, if that's going to happen, man, I mean, somebody better come up with the ultimate excuse. You know what I'm saying? Anybody? You know what I'm saying? You better come up with something because, man, we're talking a global crisis, okay? And so you got to come up with something. And what I left off with the little teaser last time was the UFOs. How is that going to play into explaining away the rapture? Well, in a nutshell, what you're going to say is, I truly believe this is going to be one of the things, is, hey, Larry, I'm sorry you were left behind, buddy. Sorry, but Ed's not here, so you're right there next to him, next to Russ. And he's looking at me weird about that chicken leg thing, so I got to back off. So, but anyway. So I'm sorry you left behind, but don't worry, Larry. Lillian, besides that bumper sticker thing, she didn't get in a wreck. No. The UFOs took her. Okay? Don't worry. She's okay. You're going to enter into the age of utopia because you had the correct spiritual frequency to handle the change. Folks, that's exactly what is happening today. And let me give you a little definition, and this is where we left off last time. Hey, folks, it's no brainer with the UFO issue. Okay? If it walks like a demon, talks like a demon, acts like a demon, gee whiz, what do you kind of think it might be? Demon. And so that's what I'm going to lead you through tonight, because this is the time is near. That was the epoch that we saw on the timeline. You got the 7-year tribulation, folks, and we're here at that epoch. The time is near. Do we have any idea how close it is? And again, if that happens, folks, somebody better come up with the ultimate excuse. And I'm telling you, we're living in the days where people are being prepared to receive one of the biggest lies that we've been prepped for decades, called UFOs. Let's take a look. Is it really demons? Okay, let's take a look. Number one, the reason why I really believe that they are demons is because they debunk Jesus. And I'm not the only one that believes this, okay, with that, because when you look at their supposed channel messages, and they're supposedly, giving these people messages, I kid you not, okay? People write books about, the Space Brothers. They got all kinds of terminology, the Ashtar Command and all this stuff, okay, that they've been beaming these messages to them, okay? And they believe they're teaching people that they are our saviors, okay? They're going to rescue humanity from the coming cataclysms to come on the planet. And that's another way to explain away the judgments of God. No. It's not the judgments of God. It's Mother Earth cleansing herself. But that's okay. We're all here orbiting Earth. And we'll take care of it. If it gets too bad, we'll, get you out of there. It's exactly what they're teaching with people. But here's the point. Many people, not even Christians, many UFOologists, they sit there and go, this is first clue that something weird is going on here. And again, these are non-Christians too. It's very strange that if you really did come all the way across the galaxy, you get here, and all you do is debunk Jesus Christ. You'd think you'd have something better to do. And then why only Jesus? But not only that, folks, they promote a one-world religion. Now, why would you come all the way across the galaxy just to debunk Jesus? Okay? Let me read you some actual, 8 points that they are teaching people in these supposed channel messages. They teach that all of us are little gods. What does that sound like? Mormonism sounds like also Genesis chapter 3. What was the lie from who? Satan. That we're all little gods. They teach the earth is a living entity and we need to worship her and change our ways or we're going to be destroyed. That's what they're teaching. Is that true? Okay? They teach, listen, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha all came from the ETs to assist mankind in our next step of spiritual evolution. That's kind of interesting. There is no such thing, they say, as sin, and we do not need to be saved. These are their messages. Number 5, Orthodox Christianity has it all wrong. Jesus' real message was to teach us that each one of us can become Christs. Whoa, very interesting. To aid in contacting these heavenly beings, one should refrain from certain foods and practice meditation. Mankind, number 7, needs to unite in a one-world government and religion, or you're going to be destroyed. And finally, they say the devil, or Lucifer, he's actually a good guy who's come to free us. The early church got it all wrong and started a bad rumor. Now, folks, that's not just wrong, and it's not just heretical. Why in the world would you fly? This is the first red flag. All the way across the galaxy, supposedly, and they're not, we're going to see in a second, just to debunk Jesus Christ and promote what the Revelation says, the Antichrist kingdom. That sounds almost kind of demonic. That's right. Neil, I almost thought you had it there, but no. Demonic. If it walks like a demon, talks like a demon, gee whiz, where do you think it's coming from? A demon. The second thing that why I would say, folks, is because, again, we're dealing with something not physical, folks. We're dealing with something spiritual. And I shared this before. Jacques Vallée, he's one of the top world ufologists. And to my knowledge, he's not even a Christian. After 30, 40 years of research with the UFOs and what he's observed, probably more than anybody on the planet, he has determined that these things are not physical in nature. They're ethereal. He says, because we know they're not physical. He says, because these supposed craft that we're seeing, he says they're going, we clock them at 16,000 miles an hour, they make a right turn. Physically, if that were to happen, if you could get a ship to do that and make a 90-degree angle at 16,000 miles an hour, what would happen physically? You would be utterly smashed down to the atomic level. And he says, not only that, is these beings seem to appear and disappear at will. He says, and this is a non-Christian, he said these beings are not coming from outer space. They're coming from inner space. They're coming from another dimension.